Hi.
Hi.
It's so good to see you.
You
I'm
too.
Caitlin.
I'm Allie.
You can take a seat. Hi, I'm really glad that you're here. Did you have any problems finding the room or anything like that?
A little trouble. I haven't been in this building before, but
Yeah.
I really like it.
This is my first time as well, so
Yes.
we're like both on the same page with that. I was like wandering around. I think I ended up in the we ended up in the right spot, so it's fine. But yeah, I like your boots.
Thank you.
These are really
Thank
nice.
you.
I bet they're really good for the like cold.
They are. I was
weather
gonna wear some
that
other
we've been
shoes.
having.
Yeah, and this weather has just been something else.
It's
So.
really bad. But thank you so much for coming despite the location and weather worries. So basically, we're going to kind of get right to it, and let me explain a little bit what this is about,
Okay.
and then we can get into the actual interview. So like I said, my name's Caitlin, and I'm a social work pre-major, and basically we're doing this interview to help us out with our interviewing. We're interviewing other people and each other, and just trying to get a feel for how it actually feels in the practice. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you questions for about 15 minutes, probably a little less, depending on how this goes. And what I'm really interested in is your story. I'm like really just passionate about people's stories and how they got into where they are right now. So what major you're in, the career that you want to go into, that's what we're going to be talking about. And but my number one thing is that I want you to be comfortable. So we have the chairs set up like this, but feel free if you need to move around.
No, this is fine.
Okay, good. And so as you see, we have a photographer and our camera. And basically what's happening with that is that for the purpose of the class, we're videotaping it, and we're going to put it on YouTube. And actually my professor is going to watch it, as well as if she wants to. If something happens in the interview that's really fantastic, then she might show the class.
Okay.
And so just kind of keep that in mind when you're answering the questions, that it might be something with the class. But really, we really just want you to be comfortable. We don't want you to go out with any regrets. So if you say something or something happens that you really would rather people not see, we can either edit it out, or we can let the professor know if she wanted, for example, to use it in the class. We can let her know that you're not comfortable with other people seeing that, which is totally fine. And we can edit it out, and we can tell her that that's not okay. So, yeah. Do you have any questions about anything that's going to happen?
No.
I just want to let you know, one more thing that I forgot, is that you have the right to refuse to answer a question if you don't feel comfortable. That's your right as answering the questions. That and if I overstep the boundaries, like I said, it's my first time. I've been in your place before, but I've never interviewed anybody before. So if I overstep the bounds, or if you feel uncomfortable, then you are completely welcome to either not answer, or if you feel like it's necessary to just stop the interview, then that's fine too. It won't hurt my feelings. It's okay. So I just want to let you know that real quick. Okay. That's your rights as an interviewee. So we can get started if you don't have any more questions.
No, I'm ready to go.
All right. So first, so in my personal experience, when you tell people that you're doing social work, they have a lot of questions, and there's a lot of misconceptions about what social work is. So I was just curious how you first came across social work as a career, or even as something out there that's possible to do.
I didn't really know a lot about social work in the beginning. I really wanted to do psychology and either teach or work in the field of psychology, be a psychologist, be more that way, and then I realized it's just a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more science and just schooling and things like that. And I mean, I love school, that's fine, but I think social work is similar, but it's more people. It's, you know, I don't want to say easier, but it's just general help. It's genuine. It's working with others, and so I just felt like that was the better route. And but even then, I still didn't know a lot. I mean, the first day we talked about, you know, everybody thinks that social work is just about CPS. And I was like, oh, I didn't even think about
I've gotten
CPS.
that so many times.
Yeah. I finally got it today for the first time. And so I didn't even know about, CPS. And then somebody finally said it to me today. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that's really annoying that people only think that social work is CPS. And so, and I didn't realize that there were so many other things out there until now. I mean, we've had several people come into our classes and talk about different routes of social work that they've taken, and all of them are interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it.
I've gotten the CPS thing so many times where they immediately think, and a lot of times I get the, oh yeah, I'd love to do social work, that sounds really interesting, but I could never take kids away from their families.
Right.
And it's just, but that's okay, because then you really have to be passionate about it, and if you really know about it, then you can be like, well, if you do, then it's abusive, it's for the best for the kids. And you can have that talk, and it's educational for them and experience for you. Did you know, like, when you were finding out about social work, you mentioned that you had this, like, kind of phase from, like, psychology to social work. Like, when you came across social work for the first time, like, did you immediately know that that's what you wanted to do? Or were you kind of looking at, because there's, like, sociology and social work, I don't know how much experience you have with each one, but how were you really decided that social work was what you wanted to do?
I honestly just scrolled down and saw social work and was like, that's probably what I'm doing now, because I did take sociology and I liked that just as equal as psychology, and I was like, maybe that's what I'm supposed to do is social work. And so I was like, hey, let's just go for it, and I got into the school, and ever since then I'm like, okay, thank goodness that I clicked on that button. This is right. This is right. I was like, thank goodness, because there wasn't a day someone was like, oh, this is what you do as a social worker.
Yes.
And I definitely think that there should be more of that. We always talk about we need more social workers helping with, internationally and nationally, and it's just nobody knows what it is though, and so I think that also is a problem.
I agree, so what area, I know, like international, like you said, is kind of like a route that you took. And I know in your class you said that there was somebody that came to talk to y'all about maybe different options. Has there been one option yet that's kind of like been for sure what you want to do, like in social work, or like a population that you're really passionate about?
I was pretty dead set on a marriage and family counselor.
Which makes sense with psychology that you'd be interested in that.
And so that's kind of what I thought. And then, population-wise, mostly adolescents, younger ages is what I feel I connect to mostly. I don't know if that's just because that's, the age I am now, and that's why I connect, or because I haven't worked with elderly, but I really feel like adolescent age is what I understand the most. And marriage and family was what I wanted. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I don't have divorced parents. I don't know what it's like to go through a traumatic experience like that with your family. Fortunately, I don't have that. And I just feel like I've seen other people go through it though. And I'm just like, I wish I could help somehow. And so I kind of feel like that's how I've started to grow towards marriage and family. I want to help the children and how they cope with it, and I want to help the parents, maybe they don't have to divorce, maybe they can work it out, they just aren't having the right tools to do so. Or maybe they really can't work it out and we need to work with the whole family getting it all, because it's a lot of emotions. I mean, it's you're angry, you're sad, you're mad, it's a lot to go through, and so that's what I really felt like was calling me. But internationally, I would love to work with women and getting them better resources for their families and their babies, and even themselves, jobs, abusive relationships. I like helping internationally too. I think that would be really good. I like to travel and I like to help, so why not?
And they talk about how the problems of the kids are oftentimes so related to the problems of the mothers, so people don't really think about the moms, but that's really where the problem starts.
Exactly.
So that sounds like that's kind of where you're rooted to. I thought that was so interesting that you talked about your friends, how you hadn't experienced the things, but your friends had, because I'm kind of like thought the same thing, where it's like you almost help them out, and in doing that, it kind of directs you to what you're, you know, passionate about or who you have empathy for.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. I really identify with that. So what are some challenges or some concerns maybe in doing like the family care, if it's like counseling or whatever it is? Like, do you have anything that's really kind of nags at you sometimes, where it's like, oh, I don't know if this is really what I can do because...
I feel like because I haven't experienced it,
right.
It's, I mean, a little difficult to completely understand.
Right.
I can imagine and I can see the hurt, but I think that would be a learning experience to try to understand how they feel, you know,
right.
and how dramatic it really is to lose, you know, your family. I think that would be difficult, and population-wise, it's a bit of a wild age group to deal with hormones and everything. So I like to think that I could, you know, handle the changing moods, because I know it's not directed personally to me. It's what's going on in their bodies, and I think that that will be a challenge, but I also like it. I think it would be a good challenge to be able to handle young children, because at some point in time I'm going to have to handle my own, so I can test it out on a bunch of other kids. But I think, and then another challenge would just be the day-to-day emotional stress you put on yourself as a social worker with any job you have. I understand a lot of things with other people, and, you know, really put myself in their shoes, and then sometimes you have to like take your shoes off, like you gotta retract back and be like, but that's not how my life is, and I need to remember that I'm okay and I can do this, and, you know, really let go of all that stress when you leave and just move on to the next day.
Definitely. So we're gonna have to, I think, close. I think we're kind of running out of time. Okay, well, it was so nice to get to talk to you a little bit and get to know you a little better. Thank you so much for taking the time to help me out practicing. And I guess I'll see you soon. We'll make sure to get back to you about the video and let you know if it needs to be used in class or whatever that's going to look like, so we can make sure that that's okay with you for your privacy. But I appreciate you coming in.
Yes,
it was so nice to talk to you. Thank you.